Welcome back to another MTGO Modern League with me, Magix, and this time we are trying out a Ruck land control deck. So stay tuned and let's go!
Push the goddamn button!
You heard what she said.
So guys, I found this deck list in the 5.0 dumps of the recent MTG Goldfish postings, and the original pilot of the deck has made now 2 postings, so I figured I want to try this out. It looks like a normal Titan deck with Dryad, right? But we don't have any Titans here. This is mainly trying to get out land drops on naturally, and using the typical lands you see like Field of the Dead or Valakut just as value land drops, so to say. We are running Thought Scour to dump stuff into our graveyard. If we hit lands there, well, we can pick them back up with Wrenn and Six, like maybe Tolaria West after you have transmuted it, right? You can then use it here to transmute over and over and over to find all the value land drops like Field of the Dead for the grindy matchups, Ghost Quarter maybe if you want to slowly run them out of land drops, Mystic Sanctuary so that we can enable a Cryptic lock against decks that need the combat phase, or maybe even Deprive. Right, if you have Deprive in hand and Mystic Sanctuary on the field, you can return Mystic Sanctuary with Deprive and do it over and over and over again. So if the opponent is in top deck mode and he has no way making stuff uncounterable, well, you always have a Deprive to catch something dangerous. That's very good. We did it in the last league where we played the blue-white Miracles deck, and I really like this combination. We also lost against an Urza deck that did the same, and it's really hard to break through if you don't have stuff like Discard or Graveyard Hate or something like that. So I really like running this. Or simply trying to grab the Valakut if you have a Dryad out and use any land drop to burn them for 3, because any new land drop with Dryad out is a mountain, right? So then we run some lightning bolts for interacting burning phase. Once upon a time to find any of the land drops or the creatures that you see. Birds to ramp a little bit, because we are pretty heavy on the 3 drops like Uro, Tracker or even Dryad. So birds are nice there. I was also thinking about Gilded Goose, because you can cash in the tokens for life gain if you don't need the ramp necessarily. But there is no real synergy with the artifact, so I guess the deck runs bird because it's a little more consistent. And the deck is a little bit graveyard dependent, because you want to pick up lands with Wrenn and Six, and of course you want to escape the Uro. So Tireless Tracker is a nice creature that not only interacts with your own land drops, because you can cash in the clues for card advantage, and since we are ramping a lot, we should have the mana for the clues. And then you have still a threat in case the opponent drops a Rest in Peace in post-bot games to try to stop the Wrenn and Six and Uro, of course. And then coming to the sideboard, I made some concessions to the deck list I found online, because the deck is around 800 to 900 tickets, and this is way too much for my rental limit, so I had to make some cuts. We still run the 4 Aether Gusts and 3 Veil of Summers from the original list. Aether Gust is really nice because it can not only prevent Primeval Titan or deal with Dryads that the opponent has resolved, you can also use it to deal temporarily with the Blood Moon. And if the opponent puts the card back on top, then you have always the chance to counter it with the Cryptic and Deprive, right? So I really like this interaction, and I really like the card. When we also played it in our control lists, like white again, and seeing 4 here is interesting. I mean, you can also use them against burn, right? To buy this precious time you need to get to your Euros. Yeah, so eager to see how the 4 Aether Gust will work. Then we have 3 Whale of Summers to resolve our stuff against blue decks and protect it against black decks from discard, right? Pretty strong card. 1 green mana, you counter whatever the opponent does if it's in these colors. Can also protect your lands from Fulminator Mage and stuff like that. So yeah, seeing 3, no wonder. Then I run 2 Scavenging Oozes. The nice thing is that it not only attacks the graveyard of the opponent, you also gain life. It's an other threat to end the game, and you can find it with Once Upon a Time. The list that I found actually run 3, but yeah, as I mentioned, I needed to stay in the budget, so I'm only running 2. We have 1 Tormod script as additional graveyard hate. The nice thing about the crypt is that you can find it with Tolaria West later on, if you don't have it in your opening hand immediately. That's very nice. Then the deck runs 2 Engineered Explosives. Again, you can find it with Tolaria West. You can maybe find Tolaria West with Once Upon a Time, right? And explosives can deal with literally everything because, yeah, it's a natural 3 color deck. So you already can catch stuff like Blood Moon. And alongside Bird and Dryad, you have the ability to even deal with, yeah, converted cost 4 or 5 mana permanents. So you can even maybe cash this in to deal with Reality Smasher or what have you. It's good against Death Shadow. It's good against token decks. There's a lot of stuff you can bring, or a lot of decks you can bring in Engineered Explosives. The only thing that's really missing to make this card really, really strong in this deck is an ability to get it back from the graveyard, right? Like an Emery or something like that, so you can use it over and over and over again. But I hope it's still fine to buy time or deal with these annoying permanents that are trying to stop our value engine. And I think it's better than just a simple Nature's Claim or something like that, because it's so versatile. You can also use it against humans and stuff, right? So then I have added 1 Blast Zone because of the reasons I mentioned. Not only can you find Blast Zone with the Tolaria West, you can also find it with Once Upon a Time, and after you've cracked it, you can return it with Wrenn and Six. So this is the reason why I want to try out 1 Blast Zone. Yes, it's of course more expensive to use than Engineered Explosives, but then again, yeah, it's based on colorless mana, so you don't necessarily need the Bird or the Dryad, right? And yeah, you need an extra turn, but at least you can do it over and over and over again. At least in more grindy games. And since it's an 25th land, I don't think that it messes our mana base up too much. Just another value land, so want to see how this goes. And the last 2 slots were actually Brazen Borrowers. I guess it's another threat that doesn't rely on the graveyard. You can still bounce back permanents to counter them on the way back with Deprive or Cryptic Command, right? But Brazen Borrower is really expensive right now, and I don't have the extra 100 tickets to shell out for this. So I simply just included an Ashiok because here Titan is still the main deck, I guess. So we then have not only 4 Aether Gust, but also the Ashiok here. And you can also bring in Ashiok against Dredge, right? So we have another 5 slots for Dredge. And yeah, I guess that's mainly it, but we will see if the Brazen Borrower that we are missing will be backbreaking or not. So usually I like just running the deck list that I find without changing anything, because that gives you the best feel of the deck. But as I mentioned, around 900 tickets is too much for my budget, so I made some concessions and hope that the deck still performs kind of well, hoping to get the 3-2 like always. And hopefully it blows our expectations away and performs even better. And hopefully not worse. So, let's see, we are on the draw. So, hoping for a bird in the opener. Of course, we are also hoping that Lightning Bolt is good interaction in this matchup. Because against stuff like Death Shadow, we don't have really very good interaction in game 1. And even in game 2, it's also very hard to deal with a Gurmag Angler. So we will see. Our opponent is not doing anything right now, not even taking his hand, so it's waiting time again. I guess you guys can jump ahead. Well, I have to sit here and look at the clock ticking down. Okay, yeah, so there is the bird I wished for. We even have a Once Upon a Time to find a Dryad or something else, and Thought Scour to dump some burrows in our graveyard, so it's definitely a keep. And just talked about it, and it's Death Shadow, unfortunately. So I hope that Uro is good in this matchup, that we can find it quickly. I guess we lead with Breeding Pool here. I think it's the most valuable land, actually. Need double blue for Deprive if we want to hit it. Maybe I should have used the Wooded Foothills, because the blue fetches can get the Mystic Sanctuary later on. I still think I lead with Breeding Pool and then cast Once Upon a Time. Now we can pay a soft Stubborn Denial, that's why I played the land out first. And we found the Mystic Sanctuary, which is not bad. I like sticking the bird here. Ship the turn. Maybe we find a 3-drop the natural way. Maybe he kills the bird, but that's also fine. At least he has to use 1 mana for it. Seems like 4-color Death Shadow. Could be a Tarmogoyf here. Exactly, okay. So, give me an Uro. Oh, that's not the Uro we wanted. So let's Thought Scour ourselves, and we found a Dryad that we can't cast right now, unfortunately. So we have to ship the turn back. Take a lot of damage here. Comes the Death Shadow. So there's a lot of pressure going on here. He might have a counter open with Drawn in the Lock, actually. No, he plays out more creatures. Well, could be dead next turn. There's not really a lot we can do here. Tapped wrong. So we might have to block with everything here, but I still don't see how we win this game. Even with an Uro, he is going too wide right now. He can still have removal for the Uro, I guess. Valakut is still a little bit off. Field of the Dead needs more time, and I don't think we get the time here. Yeah. I don't see anything that can get us out of this situation. Fortunately. Well, double lightning bolt, but I suspect a counter spell here, so can put the bolt back on top, but it's still one turn too late, since we don't have an arrow to immediately draw it, so... Okay, I guess we bring in our heart removal, so to say, and Aether Gust can take care of the Tarmogoyfs, but I actually like Whale of Summer here, and I guess that Scavenging Ooze... Nah, it's not really good enough, right? The question is, what do we bring out? I'm not really a fan of 4 lightning bolts. I mean, some are nice to keep them honest, but don't need a lot. I think we need the birds to get to our 3 drops quickly. Wrenn and Six is only okay. Maybe the third Cryptic is a little bit clunky. I like Tireless Tracker. I still like the Deprives. I guess this is a matchup where Brazen Borrower is nice because it can stall a little bit, and yeah, you get this 3-power attacker. Maybe 4 Oro is too much, but then again, need them kind of. I'm unsure how many basics they are running. Ghost Quarter could also be a way to victory, but it could also be too ambitious because it's too slow in the end. Well, maybe if we cut 1 Dryad, but not sure how good that is. I guess we have to cut a little bit around the edges. We need 4 Wrenn and Six. Don't think they are running a lot of land hate. I bet they are running more stuff like Ashiok, which is not the end of the world for this deck. But it can be annoying against our Uros, so maybe if we try it like this. Well, we need a third land drop, but we have some explosions at least, and we have a Thought Scour to find more gas, so... 25 lands in the deck with a cantrip. Does he take mulligans, or... He is slow on deciding again. At least the games are going fast. So, do we risk a substop, soft stubborn denial in his turn? I think in this case we run into discard maybe, but now It's fine anyways. Well, there's a Mystic Sanctuary in the graveyard. We have the second one in hand. Here comes the discard. So we can either grab Explosives or Tracker. Maybe we find a Weight of Summer next turn. Takes the Tireless Tracker. Find a Once Upon a Time, which is not bad. But then we don't have a guaranteed Dryad next turn, and I want a guaranteed 3-drop here. Here comes the pressure. We might also want to use Explosives on one, maybe with a land drop, if he has some Death Shadows here. He can have, of course, Stubborn Denial, so then there is not a lot we can do here. He is trying to find something. Gurmak Angler. Okay, so we have one more turn. Unfortunately, the Dryad is not doing much here, and we can't use the Explosives against the fish. But I don't think trying to find an Uro here will use our mana in a better way. So let's grab a red source. In case there is a Wrenn and Six down the line. Here comes the Gurmak most likely. Could also have a Fatal Push here. No, Thoughtseize probably takes the Cryptic or the Explosives. Takes the other Dryad, that's interesting. Because now if we draw another land drop, we can bounce the fish back. So I suspect that he takes the Cryptic actually. Because we can bounce back the Sanctuary and play it out immediately to get another Cryptic maybe. Here comes the Gurmak. Well, we draw poop, so nothing to do here, unfortunately. Just needed another land drop, and it was not even in the top 5 cards, so that's really annoying, and we don't even have a way now to deal with this Gurmak, because I suspect him having now a counter spell in his turn. So yeah, we could have hold open the block with the Dryad and trying to bolt this Angler, but now he will have Stubborn Denial or even Drown in the Lockup, so I think we missed our chance to win this game. The 4th land drop. Well, maybe if you find a land drop now, we can try to block and then see if he has 2 counters, which right now would be difficult for him, right? So we can block and yeah, okay. Well, now he has to pick the bolt, yeah, because else he would be dead. He goes to 3, that's interesting. So we found the land drop. We can use the Explosives to deal with a Death Shadow, attack him down to 1. We can also tap the Death Shadow, bounce his Sanctuary, put the bolt on top. That doesn't seem so great. So this land drop is free. We can use Explosives to deal with the Shadow. Lose our bird. That doesn't seem that great, to be honest. That doesn't seem too great. That's just interesting. Tapping his team in the upkeep is very risky. If we put the bolt on top, could get him maybe. When using the explosives, we'll use all of our mana, and in this case, if we wait till his turn, doesn't make much difference, because then we are missing the 2 damage here, and he can't attack with the Gurmek unless he has another blocker. So I think the explosives line and attack for 2 is the best line here, because I mean, bouncing the Dash Shadow and drawing a card will put us to 5 if he attacks, but then we can still maybe blow up the Angler and attack for 2, but I think this is interesting. I mean, if we attack for 2 now, he can't use this land anymore for mana, and if he replace the Dash Shadow then, yeah, I guess this settles it. We return, and I want to draw another card, because there's no other real use for this. Can still use Veil. That's really good. Okay. So we put him down to 1. Now he can't use the peatland or fetch lands anymore. If he attacks for 5 and taps this for the Dash Shadow, he can't block because of the engineered explosives. Because then I blow up his blocker and attack him down to -1. So I mean, you can write it in the comment section, but I think the Cryptic bounce line was the correct one here. Now, also, if we find a Wrenn and Six, that's also lethal, right? This one can't attack anymore. And the longer the game goes, I mean, yeah, the higher the chance that we find some more good interaction. In my opinion, he shouldn't have picked this Dryad with the Swordseize, but should have picked the Cryptic, because the second Dryad doesn't do anything here. And I think cutting the 4th Dryad for this reason is correct. I mean, it's nice to ramp a little bit and activate your Valakuts, but it is rather slow, and they are not particularly valuable bodies on the battlefield, so I like Tireless Tracker a little bit more, because at least this guy can get the card back you used in case dies, so has to play the Death Shadow. Now we will play the explosives for 1, but I can't crack it because there is no reason in doing so against the Gurmek still on the battlefield. He can't attack because he knows about the explosives. And we find the lightning bolts. Well, sometimes you're lucky, I guess. Yeah, so sticking with 3 Dryads is fine. Having run is great, but having more than that is risky. I like the Uro to actually battle on the ground, because 6/6 is still stronger than the Gurmek at least, and usually better than Tarmogoyfs. So maybe we can cut one once upon a time, because if we don't have it in our opener, it's rather slow. And we can still find the Ur with the Thought Scour. And I think maybe on the play you can make the argument that you only want to run 3 birds. Because you only need really 1, but on the draw I want the Accelerant. Aether Gust is only nice really against the Tarmogoyfs, and as you could see in this game, well, there were only black creatures. While Bolt won us this game, I still only want to draw 1 on average, if that is even true, because in a normal game he has the counter open, and drawing bolts, it's okay for the punk out, but I don't want too many. I want to rely on these blast zone explosives effects. The Cryptic was nice there, but yeah, they also have stuff like Whale of Summer, and I like Deprive a little bit more because it's cheaper. To catch maybe a Death Shadow on the stack, then play out the land drop you lost with the Dryad seems to be fine. 3 Wrenn and 6 should also be okay. I think this configuration is okay. Ashiok can delay the Gurmax, but it's a 3-drop, so it doesn't seem that great. I like the Veil Summers against the discards, can also protect some stuff against the Stubborn Denial if you want to resolve an Explosives, for example, and very late one of these Cryptics, so yeah. I mean, you can also find the Cryptics with the Thought Scour, right, and then pick it back up with the Mystic Sanctuary. That's a cool interaction, and again, I don't want to draw several Cryptics. I think 1 is good enough, and then you hope to pick them up in late game, but the issue is in reaching this late game, right? So at least that's how the games are playing out so far, and we are taking more time to decide on our opening hands, kind of, than actually playing the game. Besides this 1 Cryptic turn, I think the games were pretty straightforward. I mean, we don't have the bird, but taking mulligans just to hit the bird is a little bit much in my opinion. The thing is, yes, Cryptic is not stellar, but we don't have any real removal spell to dig for, so we hope that he doesn't have a blazing fast start and we maybe find a Whale of Summer. As I mentioned, this is not a great matchup, because you really lack in the removal department, even though you have some explosives. It's not the greatest. So if I would him, I think I would pick the Thought Scour. Well, okay, he decides for the Dryad, so might have a slower hand. If I shock this in, we could play a turn to Wrenn and Six, and this can still get a Sanctuary later on, so I think this is correct. This leaves open the most lines on the next turn. Now maybe it was right to Sword Scour in my turn again to play around Stubborn Denial. Well, here comes the Tarmogoyf. We mill over the Blast Zone. Blast Zone is slow, and unfortunately we only draw lands here, which is really not great against the start. Now he takes the Cryptic and we have nothing anymore. Here comes even a Death Shadow. Explosives on 2 is also pretty slow now. And yeah, that's most likely game over. Shouldn't concede too fast, right? But take 8 now at least. Yeah, oh, we are dead. This goes to 5. 1 more damage and we are dead. So we can't use any of these fetch lands right now. And that's GG. Yeah. Well, drawing too much lands, and that's over against his fast start. But taking mulligans against his double discard opening doesn't seem great either. You can't Veil of Summer on turn 1 if he starts, then he picks your first Veil of Summer, and if you don't immediately top deck it, well, then there goes your next answer. In this game, there wasn't even turn 4 for the Cryptic, so it didn't matter. Yeah. Okay. Another discard deck. Godless Shrine, okay. It's maybe another Death Shadow deck, this time in Marduk colors. Seen some list plays thing. Takes a Deprive, okay. Then let's grab this Demons here. Okay. Okay, it's a Stoneforge Mystic deck actually. And Esper colors, interesting. Maybe with Lingering Souls or something. Okay. That is annoying. Don't have a lot to deal with Ilyana right now. Maybe need like a Cryptic or an Uro or something. We can use this fetch land to put a bolt maybe on top. Play out Tireless Tracker next turn maybe. See the right dice. Creeping Tar Pit, okay. We still have the Ghost Quarter. Now we can deal with the Liliana. Do you have a Mana Leak or something too? Nope, you don't. So he has a Better Skull and 2 unknowns, right? So okay. So he wants to keep his Liliana, I mean, okay. Doesn't matter if he down ticks her now. Okay. Would have lost the bolt either way then. Here comes the Jace, okay. So who knows if he has a Better Skull anymore. Do we have a Force? Nope. still have the better skull, of course. Oh. It's the better skull, okay. That can kill the Wrenn and Six, unfortunately. This can't grab the Sanctuary. Never found an Uro so far. Oh, okay. So really going deep with this deck. Another Liliana. So taking the Well of Summers and I guess again the explosives. Maybe Blast Zone 2. I guess one explosives is enough with the Blast Zone because we still have Tolaria West. I like the Cryptics, I like the Deprives, I like the Veil of Summers against Liliana and stuff. Still like the Uros, still like the Trackers. Interesting. I'm not sure what to cut here, to be honest. I like most of the stuff we have. Really like most of this stuff. So I guess again we have to cut a little bit around the edges. Doing the cowards cutting. Stomping Ground or Breeding Pool? No, Stomping Ground here. Now we found the Uro. Guess we are not under that much pressure right now, so let's take the Breeding Pool. Okay, next turn we can use the Uro. Then we have Cryptic up, most likely. Care about Stoneforge right now. This is awkward because now I should have played the Ghost Quarter first, actually. Missed that. Well, in this case we play Once Upon a Time. Deal. Did he get Better Skull? Okay. Blossom, don't care. Yeah, I like the Sanctuary actually. Let's take the Sanctuary here. And another Whale of Summer, interesting. Let's get this Euro rolling. Still keep Whale up. Care about one fairy token here. We have drawn the forest. Fetch again. This enables the Uro. Unfortunately, there is no other target. Yeah, I feel so. Okay. I feared that. Well, then let's just ship the turn here. Should have looked this up before. Okay, 6 goes to 6 again. Okay. So, green, blue, 2, F. Okay, hoping to find a Field of the Dead soon. Tolaria West. Can grab explosives or blast zone. Could also pick up the Dryad, but let's get the Tolaria West and then we can fight Field of the Dead actually. And he concedes, okay. Played this poorly, but still managed to win it in the end. Not sure if we really need the birds here. Let's try it like this. Well, we have a fetch land with Wrenn and Six, so also have a Valakut in case he has the Stoneforge again. You really need a third land drop here. Takes again a lot of mulligans. We'll pick Wrenn and Six most likely. No, he takes the lightning bolt. Okay, so he has already Stoneforge in hand. He takes a better skull, okay. Still have to get Wrenn and Six down here. Anything else we can really do? So next turn he has a better skull. Thought Scour can enable Uro pretty quickly. Okay, so he wants his better skull. This can be another island, so that we could use Cryptic and then maybe find Mystic Sanctuary and Thought Scour in one turn. So let's do this now. There comes the better skull. So Wrenn and Six will die here, unfortunately. Yeah. Six Liliana. Okay. We find another Wrenn and Six. Valakut needs 5 other mountains. So, I mean, those Dryads are still valuable. Don't think we need the other Uro right now. Only really need the land drops right now to get the Valakut going, I feel like. Yes, the Uro will die, but This gains us some life and get the land drops. Well, Sanctuary has no good target, but didn't want a bolt there, so next turn can play the Dryad maybe, and use one of the land drops to deal with Liliana. Then hopefully find more land drops. I mean, we have Wrenn and Six, so land drops shouldn't be an issue, and we are not dead immediately. Bitter Blossom. Okay, so one more card. Let's play out this Dryad first. This up. Could also use the Wrenn and Six. I think it's worth going down. Let's take care of this. Yes. Can use this for the explosives next turn, but we also have one in the graveyard, so if we find Field of the Dead here. No, we don't, unfortunately. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So we blow up the explosives next turn for 2? No, for 0, right? Yeah. Do it for 0, and then Wrenn and Six can control this board. It should be fine. Okay, then we play out this Dryad here. Do we have another target for this Scalding Tarn? We have a second Mystic Sanctuary, so I guess that's fine. Then do we need this? Not really. Can still activate the arrow. We don't need. Yeah, this can grab Field of the Dead actually next turn, so never mind. It's fine. Muta Vault, okay. Can also grab Ghost Quarter, I suppose. Yeah, it's fine. Still died to Valakut. Wow, okay. Let's transmute first, I guess. Okay. Beating the fair decks at least. But he took some mulligans, that's for sure. This is not keepable. This is better. I guess we don't need the second bird here. Can do enough. So let's grab a breeding pool. Let's see if the bird dies. We still have a cantrip or Deprive next turn. Well, here comes the Urza deck. Well, gambling for this random land drop with the Uro is too risky right now. Maybe should have picked the second breeding pool actually. Well, let's hope to find another land drop next turn, that would be great. So we have to hold Deprive up most likely. Some fetch lands would be good, so we could Deprive over and over again. He will have Tron next turn, I guess. Yeah, of course he has. 7 cards still in hand, and we don't find anything here. Ugh, that sucks a lot. Now we have to gamble. Still don't find the land drop. Well, way too late. Way too late. Yeah. These lands were coming too late. Let's see if there's a Karn or a Vonkoil. Oh, it's actually Eldrazi Tron. Well, that is still beatable, I guess. Because Uro is bigger than what he is doing. So we are still in this game, kind of. And Tracker can also become bigger, I suppose. Well, should back the turn. Next turn we are trying to resolve the Uro. Can take 5 more here, I suppose. Other stirrings. Well, now we have Deprive up. Oblivion Sour. Interesting. Interesting. That's a weird Eldrazi deck. Hopefully he doesn't hit Field of the Dead or something like that. Okay, he hit the Valakut, so that's no longer an option, unfortunately. Okay, you've got one of the clues. Close quarter is nice, so we can break up the Tron. Don't think we need a Thought Scour in the graveyard, but we also don't need this fetch land. Let's put this into play. Yeah, we do this in his upkeep because else he could use this member right now. So now he has only 7 mana. Well, yeah, of course he has another tower. Of course, of course. Okay, what next? Another Oblivion Sour? In Miracool or Ulamog. Yeah, can't prevent that, and we're dead. There's unfortunately not a lot we can do against Tron here, because we don't have the Bounce Fairy. Maybe a turn 2 Ashiok on the play is worth gunning for, so let's cut one of these, and maybe one Dryad. Well, if the bird survives, we are good. And we lost it, most likely. Sucks, but don't have a way to deal with this leyline because I didn't bring in the explosives. I didn't expect leyline out of this Eldrazi deck. Endbringer, okay. It's hard to deal with. And we don't find the second land drop, so we are dead. Yeah, well, I was leaning too much on this Wrenn and Six, I guess, and then he has the leyline, so let's try to win the next one. Okay. Okay, he takes a mulligan to 6. Now he's deciding if he wants to keep or not. Okay, he keeps. So we lead with Bird again. Elves. Okay, interesting. Didn't know this is still a deck with Plague Engineer and Wrenn and Six in the meta. He is not the fastest player. Taking 2 minutes against 8 seconds. Story of my life. Can you please press F6? Oh. Let's kill some elves here. Still have all the land drops we need. More elves incoming. That's fine. This turn we play Dryad and yeah, kill this other dude again. Then maybe untap with Cryptic. Or untap with 2 Cryptics. Shift the turn. And then we can pick up the Misty and try to enable Sanctuary Lock. Here comes the Lord. I think we can hold on for 1 turn. Before we kill this. Or you find this Sanctuary naturally, but still I want to keep the Wrenn and Six around. Could play both now with the Cryptic, but is this enough? 2, 3, 4. No, it's not enough. Okay, we should the turn back for one more time. He's far off this manor. Don't think Heritage is worth countering here. I mean, we could counterbounce the Clan Caller and then, even if he has another of these Heritage Druids, it won't matter. Yep. Okay, then let's take in the mass removal. Don't think you need that much deprives. Still like all of these, like all of this. You only need 3 euros really. Wrenn and Six is the best card alongside Lightning Bolt and the mass removal, of course. I think you can cut one of these safely. Let's try it like this. Still like some deprives against Lethal Stampede and stuff. Well, this has Lightning Bolt, but no follow-up. This mana is really awkward, so... I guess this has explosives, but you do not really want to crack it on one. But... can't go that much lower. Don't like bottoming the tracker here. Tolaria West is awkward, but I guess we need some land drops. Maybe we draw a Wrenn and Six, but now we are on the draw and it's a little bit more awkward. Mistake, yeah. There is the Wrenn and Six, so maybe find a fetch land next turn. That is not the best. If we play Wrenn and Six here, we can only kill one mana dog and soak up some damage. If we play the explosives, we can't crack it, so that's not an option. We Thought Scour and gamble, we could lose everything. So, guess we use the Wrenn and Six as a sacrificial lamp here. Try to slow him down a little bit for now. Still a bad 1-for-1 trade, but this could be a company here. No, okay. Heritage Druid, maybe? Okay, Shaman of the Pack. We have the next land drop at least. He has one more card. We can play an Uro next turn. We take a lot of damage. Two, 4, 7, 8. Then we go to 4. Then we go to 3. Then we go to 6. If he has another shaman. Oh, he has a Lethal Stampede. We are simply too slow in this game. Beast Whisperer. Wow, okay. At least he's missing the mana for one turn, I guess. 6 dice, then we take a lot of damage. Okay, go to 6. So he will dump most of his hand next turn, but there's not a lot I can do to prevent this right now. Kind of have to dump the arrow here, or else we are dying against his normal damage. Next turn, hopefully explosives can deal with most of his stuff, and Tracker helps too. Okay, we found the second explosives. I need the mana, and then we have to see on what we crack the explosives. So we can play the Beast Whisperer and then vomit his hand here. Exactly. He should have used the Nettle Sentinel maybe. So I think we have to crack for 1 and for 4, but it takes too much mana and draws a lot of stuff here. Can't wait for this Tireless Tracker. Don't have the time for this. Don't. Playing the explosives for 4 and cracking it takes our entire turn here. We are still dead on board then. Oh, okay. Ships in here. Put us to 2. Yeah, I mean, makes sense, right? Because he has so much attackers. I don't see a way out here. If you crack the explosives for 2, we get rid of some of his dudes, but he will play a lot more creatures next turn. I think we're simply too slow here. So I think the tracker is a little bit too slow. Want all the ramp, and then you maybe want to find the Valakut SAP. Because you can't handle all of the stuff he has in the long run, so I think, given that fact, let's try it like this. To be as fast as possible and have a good mix of interaction. Well, we have a Lightning Bolt, but again, no green mana to cast the Dryad here, so this is far better. So we have already Wrenn and Six and the Birds of Paradise, so I don't think we need the explosives right away. But yeah, I think we don't need the explosives right now, and this can grab an Uro or a Dryad, which would be really great, or a third land drop even, because most likely we will down take Wrenn and Six. Getting the Uro in the grave or the assured third land drop. I think given that we have two birds already, I like the Uro a little bit more. Might be greedy, but yeah. Okay, he leads with Nettle Sentinel, so Wrenn and Six can't kill an Accelerant. Cryptic, okay. Okay, so we still play out the Wrenn and Six here. Then we pick up this land, play out this bird, and have Cryptic up for the next turn. I will not sacrifice my bird for this. Comes this elite. I think holding up Cryptic is still fine. We can ping the Elf Warrior at least. Then the Wrenn and Six will most likely die. At least it's one less elf. Picking up the land drop isn't really that needed right now. Play the Uro and still use two land drops. We don't have the Cryptic up, unfortunately. Then again, we could tap his team and simply draw a card and keep the Wrenn and Six around for one more turn. He could play a Lord next turn and then we can't deal with this anymore. Let's ping this for now. Just ship the turn. Okay. Okay, he didn't have anything. That's not bad. Because this can get Mystic Sanctuary. This could get the Breeding Pool. And we find another Wrenn and Six. But I don't think we need it right away. So... let's ramp a little bit here. Mystic Sanctuary. But I don't need it right away. It's fine. Now I'm willing to block once to keep the Wrenn and Six around. Okay, no, not anymore. Yes, more 1-drops. Okay. Yeah, Wrenn and Six dice. You got him. You also soon have the Uro actually available. Can kill this one also. Okay. Let's grab the Sanctuary. Let's put this back on top. This stalls another turn. Four. Here, I don't hate that. We can put Once Upon a Time on top, tap draw, then use all of this in one turn, and maybe find Valakut or Dryad. There's the Dryad, so we only have to find a Valakut then. Tolaria West goes on the bottom, unfortunately. So be it. Found lightning bolts. Green. Sure if we even have another target in the graveyard for the Wrenn and Six. Let's see, we have 4 shocklands and both. Yeah, we can still get islands, right? We still have islands in our graveyard. Sucks to lose a cryptic, but I don't think it's that necessary right now. He should be ahead with this Uro on the board, and he has really nothing right now. So yeah, let's snack everything besides the Scalding Tarn. This can also grab a forest still. So let's use this. So the Tolaria West is shuffled again, so that we can maybe draw it next turn. So at this point, I think we keep the fetch land open in case we draw a Tireless Tracker or the Valakut. Yeah, now he has to do something, but he lacks any action whatsoever, so guess we ship in now. Let's attack first. Deprive would also be okay. Well, I take the Blast Zone, I suppose. So we have a Blast Zone lock going now. Not sure what he can do. That won't rescue you. Put this to 2, blow up his Twins Elite without losing anything. Mana for days. This also blows up the Wrenn and Six, of course, so it's kind of awkward. Did something stupid again. Maybe it was not so great after all, but whatever. Don't need that much more land drops here. Just to block next turn. More birds. Okay. Drawn a lot of birds. Tireless Tracker, that was very good. Well, he has to block the Uro at least, so let's attack first and draw an extra card. Deprive is fine. Okay, then let's draw some cards. Let's try to get a Valakut here, I guess. This would be great to put into play, but I played the fetch land before. We still have Deprive up with the birds, so I guess... yeah, this should be fine. We have Deprive and Cryptic up and can bounce the Mystic Sanctuary. Unless we die here, we can tap his team and kill him. Okay. Yes, he can now play his Arctruid untap again and play some more elves, but we can still play the Sanctuary, put this on top, draw it, tap his team, and then he's dead. So, I think it's fine. This way he can't really draw anything that prevents us killing him. So this is more dangerous, I think. Should see the writing on the wall. Maybe he thinks we don't see the line. Okay. So last card is accurate. That's it. You're dead. Still not conceding. Okay, so we put this on top. We draw the Cryptic. We say tap draw. Then ship in. So, onwards to the last match. There are definitely some funny lines you can do. And with the Mystic Sanctuary, you get your land drops over and over and over again, and you draw whatever you put on top. That's a really nice combination. But the main issue for this deck is actually getting there, and sure, if you can't do Aether, maybe with Sultai. Sure. Because so far, I mean, I like this kind of semi-counter lock you can build up with the Sanctuary. But I'm not sure if the rest is really better than what Titan is doing. And yes, you can play a little bit more fair game, but not sure if that is what you want to do in Modern. Because if you really want to play a fair game, I'm unsure if you need these birds and stuff. This is fun. Blue-white. Okay, it's like an Urza deck. We can grab another bird here. The land drop. I think the land drop is better because we already have the Field of the Dead here and we draw lands anyways. So this way we can maybe set up Deprive and Mystic Sanctuary and then build our way towards the Field of the Dead. It's our win condition. Well, he could counter the Dryad here. Actually like holding up the Deprive. I'm unsure what I'm afraid about. Maybe an Emry, but we can still deal with Emry, right? And there's no Urza yet, so I think I risk it and play out the Dryads. Okay. We won't fetch, but we don't have to because this can use used as a bolt now. If he bounces, okay, fine. He still made an extra land drop. It's fine by me. That's also interesting. So now I want Deprive up, so can try the Dryad again. He can kick it to the ground, I guess, so with Fatal Push, I mean. This is kind of awkward, because if I want to Deprive with the Sanctuary, I have to fetch before that, and then the Deprive is not in the graveyard yet. If we use the Uro here, guess we can still hold Deprive up then. And he has drawn for the Dryad next turn, but this is awkward. It's kind of the same situation, right? It's kind of the same situation. Well, I guess Uro has the upside of drawing us one cast deeper, so... Now I missed the green mana. Let's use green here. Let's try this. Wasting our opponent's time here. This is okay. So... yeah, we put this one into play, and this one into play. Let's do it like this. So next turn we can also Uro, play Field of the Dead. No Urza. Okay, that's interesting. It is interesting. Don't need the Dryad right now, to be honest. So let's play more Uros out. Well, one more land drop, but we missed it for this turn, so hopefully next turn we find another land. Get this Field of the Dead going. He's not doing a lot. If he kills the bird, it's fine. Wants to gain control of it. What the heck are you doing? Okay, you have it. Could have a counter spell now, of course, but now I'm again in the situation that I can't pick this damn Deprive up. Well, I can, I guess. We take this, put it on top, try to counter here. We'll counter this now with Drawn in the Lock. Exactly, that's why he took the bird. We still have Field of the Dead going, and he doesn't have a lot here. Yes. Well, I guess we need the Dryad here this turn. Deprive is on top, unfortunately. So we won't cast it anyways, so let's grab another arrow. Let's see what he's doing now. Arrow of his own, no. Explosives for 3, okay. Cracks it now. Can use our arrow again. So I guess it's fine. Tolaria West. No. I want the blue source for the Deprive, actually. Yeah. So let's start with the arrow, I suppose. Should have eaten out the other arrow. Wow. That's nasty. He even had the Rebuke in hand, it's really nasty. Oh, he still has the Archmage Charm. So Archmage Charm, 1 unknown, he can draw some. Can use Earther too. Engineered Explosives. Man, he is drawing insanely well here. So he can keep our zombies in check, I suppose. Let's try to fill out the graveyard again. Could also grab a Once Upon a Time and try to find another Dryad or Valakut. I think that's better than a random draw. But now actually I want to find Cryptic or something. Actually want to find Cryptic. Yeah, exactly. I think we can wait one more turn. Okay, let's try to do this. Found another bolt. Now we also found a Tireless Tracker. It's not bad. I actually want the Deprive again, right? Or rather the Cryptic right now. Yeah, let's take the Cryptic. It's not like we can cast any of this turn anyways, but let's keep one land in the graveyard. Can take out the creatures, can take out the bolt. Yes, the Thought Scour. Okay, we still have a bolt up. Case for an Emery or something. Crack his explosives now, that's fine. Okay. What is this? If he pumps mana into Urza, it's not the biggest deal. Arcum's MrRaeb is just a redraw. So here comes the Emery, okay. We'll bolt it my turn to play around the Metallic Rebuke. Molten now is out of cards. He might want to protect it with the Spell Bomb. Can protect it, of course, but then we have the Cryptic up. And he has to deal with our board, I mean. We have a lot of power here. If we tap down his team, he's dead. And he knows about the Cryptic, so I think he has to bounce the Euros still. But even then, we have 3, or rather 4, 6, 8, 10. So it should be lethal in my opinion. Don't think he can draw. I mean, yeah, okay, he has 2 blockers, so I guess we can tap bounce and redraw the Cryptic anyways, so also have a second mystical sanctuary, so he has to do something now. This is interesting. I should have cracked the clue in response. Oh, but we draw the Cryptic anyways, so then we can put this in play, create another clue, and crack the clue. Sure. Let's take the Deprive, I guess. Yeah, I should have picked up the card we put on top. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We have lethal, so. Urza, eh? Definitely want Weight of Summer. Will bring in explosives, but that's fine. We need the Bolt for the Emeries, and Bolt plus Wrenn and Six kills the Urza, so I guess that is fine. Not sure about the birds, but some acceleration should be okay, so maybe cutting one again. And it will be mostly a counter war here. Dryad is a little bit slow. Like the Euros. Then I guess it's again Once Upon a Time. I've lost a lot of time here. Now I am the time waster, and he concedes. Well, guess I would have mulliganed this, so yeah, I'm not sure. Well, the deck, yeah, finished on the 3-2 line. I definitely was unfamiliar with the deck and had weird lines. Not used to playing this style of decks, that's for sure. I don't think this deck warrants 900 ticks, but Euro and Wrenn and Six take up a whole bunch of these value, and if you have the cards already, well, I guess you can try this deck out too. Play it better than I did, and the only real main concern I have is Death Shadow. But besides that, and maybe something like the Greentron, you should be fine. You need, I think, having the 2 Brazen Borrowers definitely makes sense, and I'm unsure if you really need the Ashiok or the Blast Zone. These were the main changes I made from the list, cutting the 3rd Ooze and the 2 Brazen Borrowers, so yeah, these were the 3 slots, and besides that, I think I wouldn't change much. Hope that you don't face Death Shadow, hope that you are fast enough with your accelerants, and if the game drags out, yeah, still this Mystic Sanctuary lock here, I feel like is the most powerful thing this deck does. And I think you can do this also in other decks. I mean, yes, Deprive sets you back a land drop, and with Uro and the Dryad you get those land drops back into play, and with Tireless Tracker you get more value out of it, right? But I think it's not that big of a deal to lose that one land drop when it's yeah, turn 4 or something, and you can play everything anyways, because you can prevent whatever the opponent is doing. So I still like the Deprive, for example, in the Miracles list, like I mentioned in the beginning, and I think you can do this with other decklists too. For example, also with Urza, right? Because if you then play Astrolabe and have a Urza in play, the Astrolabes make the blue mana, and then you can also set up this lock. So Urza is also more able to, yeah, to allow you to put pressure into play and still hold up the counters like our opponent did with the Mystical, not Mystical Dispute, the Metallic Rebuke. So can do a lot of stuff in the other deck, and you also can then run Archmage Charm to draw some more cards, if nothing else. So you can build a little Sanctuary toolbox, and you are still not that graveyard dependent, unlike this deck, which, as you could see when we were playing against this Leyline of the Void, how much value was shut off there. So I still think if I want a Rug, Rug deck right now, I would try to fit in Urza. Then you can run, instead of Lightning Bolt, you can run the Vandal... not Shrapnel Blast, not Vandal Blast, the Galvanic Blast. This deals 4, so you can kill Urzas, and yeah, I mean, you have Astrolabe for perfect mana, you can play whatever you want in your sideboard with this, literally, and you still get the Sanctuary lock, and yeah, Urza Emery Explosives lock. You can still do all this, and I think all in all, the Urza deck is a little bit better. But that's only my impression, and as I mentioned, I play this deck perfectly, so I still hope you enjoyed this leak. It was definitely a nice pace of change of pace, and yeah, hopefully see you next time. Bye bye.